to and the priest that I met while I was preparing for the film understand this script and Flaherty's problems very well, and in relation to their own problems. There is no factory where they make perfect people, and just because a man chooses a religious life doesn't mean that he suddenly has the key to a better life than the rest of us. He is to aspire to a life of greater integrity than most of us, and to serve God instead of himself and the ways of the world. But it puts a tremendous strain on one's sexual life, one's emotional life, one's psyche. It's a terribly hard thing to do.
And just zest for life, which
yes,
many clerics do have problems with alcoholism and
sure,
that sort of thing. Yeah.
There's even at the moment, excuse me, there's a movement in the States for the rights of gay priests, if you can believe it. This is real. This is all happening today. This film is not based on any kind of invention by a Hollywood screenwriter sitting there in a dark room making this up. It's all about how the Vatican got reorganized after the war, how they used mob connections to take money from the mob and put it into the church to be used for good, not for evil, and eventually how the American church rose in the power struggle to the position that it's in today. And if you read your Time magazine and your Newsweek and all your investigative reporting, the leaders of that movement are in big trouble today for various misdeeds.
Yes, it is. And one is from Chicago, I believe.
Yes.
But, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for that interesting answer. I heard a story about you, and I'm going to ask you something that I don't think you've probably heard all day, and that's kind of refreshing, I'm sure.
I'm bracing.
You're bracing, all right. I'm just wondering if somebody, perhaps up above, didn't choose you to play Father Flaherty because of the generosity you showed a Catholic priest on Mackinac Island. And do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm stunned and lost.
Stunned. You gave your bicycle that you used. Do you remember this? A priest asked you for it, and they auctioned it off.
Oh, yes.
And the money went to the church.
Yes.
Well, you'd forgotten about that.
I'd forgotten about that, but I don't think that's a supreme sacrifice. Really, I think other people have made much more noble efforts than that. That was. I think I didn't need the bicycle, and somebody else could put it to better use. Why not?
Well, I just thought it was a good segue to tie in with the priest bit sort of thing. I served Mass as an altar boy for many years as a youth, and I struggled with Latin. It took me a long time, and I thought you did an excellent job. And my question, I guess, Chris, is did you have any trouble with the Latin?
No, I had Latin in school as a kid. You know, you had to read about Caesar and his army marching around. And I don't know, it was part of the required training in the prep school I went to. Where I had a greater problem was in overcoming an initial awkwardness at invading the sanctity of the church and actually going up to the altar and being able to touch the artifacts and to hold the chalice and thinking I really shouldn't be here, I'm just an actor. And this is real faith, this is the real house of God, and I shouldn't be doing this. And the priests that I worked with helped me to get over that. The articles weren't blessed when I worked with them. So it was nothing profane. But he said, don't be awed by this. In fact, there's a great movement in the Catholic Church today to bring the religion closer to the people. Sometimes lay readers do a large portion of the Mass. The sermons are the little themes are much more personal and immediate, sort of conversational than they used to be. And I found the time I spent with the Catholic priests and learning about the faith to be very, very rewarding.
Oh, that's interesting. Because we were always taught that don't touch anything, particularly if it was blessed. I know the attitude that you experienced. If there was any one special thing that you learned from the Paulist with your time that you spent, could you pick out one thing that was really special that might have changed your life or affected you at all?
My life didn't change as a result of having played a priest. It temporarily. When I played a priest, I felt calm, I felt secure, I felt greater tolerance of people, I was able to listen better. I had very uplifting moments in the film when I performed, particularly the first one, in the second scene of the movie, I celebrate, I perform a marriage of my best friend Lodo Verisi and his bride. And I did that in Rome in front of 300 extras, and we just did it, for real, covered by 3 or 4 cameras. And I thought it was really extraordinary that here I was, former Presbyterian, lapsed churchgoer, and sort of occasional, I mean, I'd go to church to sing in the choir sometimes, and here I am in this time and place, and I thought, what a privilege to be an actor, where you can you can go to so many different kinds of life, whether it's a VA hospital for 5th of July or
I was thinking a little bit about that from your career. Incidentally, I want to get this in, because I really enjoyed your performance in Somewhere in Time.
Oh, thank you.
And that's why I mentioned Mackinac Island, but I guess you can say you're going to go from the cloth to leaping buildings again.
Well, I'm in the middle of shooting Superman 3.
Yeah.
Just came over here for the weekend to start Monsignor off, and I go back tonight to London.
Mm-hmm. It's really been just a pleasure having a chance to sit down, even though it was a short visit. I know you have some relatives in the Tucson area that maybe you come down, we'll do this again sometime and visit. Okay?
Okay.
We do have a clip that I'd like you to set up for our viewers.
Yes, we find that Flaherty has been sent really by the Vatican. His superiors have asked him to use underworld connections that he has from his old days in New York. This is all true, by the way, just so you don't think we're making this up. Excuse me, to use these underworld connections to take profits from the mafia and divert them back into the church. Here he's met the mafia Don Apollini, in his local village in Sicily, and needs to convince him, the Don, that he is in fact who he says.
Excuse me, the Don has been exiled or deported.
Is it deported?
Deported, yes, to Sicily.
Right,
right.
And yet his faith is secure, as many of these are. They are actually still very devout Catholics, and he doesn't believe that Flaherty is who he says he is. So Flaherty performs a mass in the local Sicilian village to convince Don Apollini that he is the man he claims to be.
And that's what we're going to see. And again, thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you.
We'll have that clip right now.
Domine non sum dignus et intre subtectum meum, sed tantum dic verbo et sanabitur anima mea. Domine non sum dignus et intre subtectum meum, sed tantum dic verbo et sanabitur anima mea.